Hi, friends. Welcome back to Story Highway, your home for heart-touching English stories that inspire and teach. Today, we're bringing you a story called The Lighthouse Keeper's Promise, a story about faith, duty, and the light that guides us even in the darkest storms. So, sit back, relax, and let the waves of this story carry you away. On the rugged coast of Maine, where waves crash like thunder and seagulls cry into the wind, stood an old lighthouse called Greystone Point. It had been standing for more than 100 years, and through every storm, one man kept its light burning: Thomas Hale, the last lighthouse keeper of Greystone. Thomas was a quiet man in his 60s, with a beard silver as sea foam and eyes that had seen too many storms. His wife, Margaret, had passed away 5 years ago, but he still spoke to her photograph every night, telling her how many ships had passed safely. One foggy evening, Thomas received a letter from the government. It said the lighthouse would soon be automated. There would be no need for a keeper anymore. The news struck him harder than the wildest wave. The lighthouse wasn't just his job. It was his promise to Margaret. Before she died, she had made him vow never to let the light go out, because it reminded her of hope. The night the machines arrived, the weather took a turn. The sky turned black, and the wind howled like a living thing. A storm was brewing, the worst one in years. But Thomas had already been told to leave by morning. He packed his few belongings, touched the brass lamp one last time, and whispered, "I'll keep your promise, Margaret." One last night, as darkness swallowed the sea, the storm came with full fury. The electric systems of the new automation failed. Lightning struck nearby, and the main power went out. The great beacon of Greystone Point flickered once and died. Down in the raging waters, a ship called the Aurora Star struggled to find its way. Captain Daniels radioed for guidance, but the signal was lost in static. In that chaos, Thomas realized that if he didn't act, the ship and its crew would perish. With trembling hands, he grabbed the old oil lantern, climbed the spiraling staircase, and fought the storm. Rain lashed against the windows. The sea roared below, but he reached the top and lit the emergency flame. The light burst forth, slicing through the darkness like a sword of gold. From the deck of the Aurora Star, the captain saw it, that single, unwavering beam, and turned the ship safely away from the rocks. Hours later, when rescue teams arrived, they found Thomas collapsed beside the lamp, still holding his lantern upright. He was weak, but alive. When they asked why he risked his life, he simply said, "A promise is a light that should never go out." After that storm, Greystone Point was fully automated. But the people of the town insisted that one thing remain unchanged: the brass plate under the lamp, engraved with the words, "Dedicated to Thomas Hale, who kept the light alive for all of us." Every year, sailors still leave flowers near the cliffs. Some say, on foggy nights, you can still see a faint figure at the top of the lighthouse, holding a lantern against the wind. So, friends, that was The Lighthouse Keeper's Promise, a story about love, duty, and keeping faith, even when the world moves on. If you felt inspired, please like, share, and subscribe to Story Highway for more heartwarming English stories every week. And remember, promises are lights that guide us home.